Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? While we were in the midst of all the LSU championship celebration, etc., the New Orleans Saints added to their cornerback room over the weekend. Jaden Price. I don't expect you to know that name. It's fine. But there's two things that are interesting to me anyway about the Saints adding Jaden Price. So they added him from the UFL, Arlington Renegades. So he played collegiately at North Dakota State, and which of course is the great 1AA FCS program, the Bison. So he played at North Dakota State, had a cup of coffee in the NFL with the Falcons. He was undrafted in 24, went to the Falcons, didn't play, released before the season started, and then played one game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the CFL, and then joined the UFL for this spring. Of course, the UFL, the United Football League, is the Spring Football League. This is now the third UFL player the Saints have signed this spring. Tight end Seth Green, who was teammates, incidentally, with Jaden Price with the Arlington Renegades. And they also signed offensive lineman Barry Wesley from the Birmingham Stallions. Just a little bit of the background on Price. Started all 10 games for Arlington in this UFL season. Led the UFL with 13 PBUs. So pretty good player. Prospect was good in the UFL. I mentioned I have two takeaways. One is it is very interesting to me, this UFL pipeline that seems to be building for New Orleans. Good players are everywhere, and it's the job of a front office to go find them. I was talking about this morning with Hester, and I was reminded of, because I know he's told this story before. But so Darren Waller, remember, was a great tight end for a few years with the Raiders. Darren Waller got signed by the Raiders because he was on, I think, the Ravens practice squad. And the practice squad guys go and do drills and warm up a little bit before games. And Hess was telling the story about how the Raiders staff was watching RG3 throw jump balls to Darren Waller in the end zone before a game. The next week, they signed him to their active roster. And then the rest with Waller's is history. My point is, there's good players everywhere. The New Orleans Saints identified Taysom Hill. Like, they were scouting the Green Bay Packers and happened to notice Taysom Hill and thought, I know how I could use him, not a quarterback. And Taysom Hill's become one of the most versatile players, if not the most versatile player in the NFL, over the last decade. So there's good players everywhere. And last year, there were 76 UFL players that got a shot in the NFL. 76. And the Saints signed two of them. Samson Nacua, who didn't make the team, and then Kevin Austin, who ended up playing. Kevin Austin, who was a Notre Dame, played collegiately at Notre Dame, and then played 8 games for New Orleans this past year. So you can find help there. Right now, there have already been 11 UFL players signed to NFL rosters for 2025. Again, they got to go through camp and make a roster. We'll see. But at least on these 90-man rosters, there's been 11. 3 of the 11 have been signed by New Orleans. So clearly the Saints see something there in that pipeline from the UFL to the roster. That's just one interesting thing. We'll see if it bears fruit. Again, Kevin Austin played 8 games for you. Your wide receiver room was a mash unit a year ago. You lost Olave. You lost Shaheed. We all know what happened. But again, just something to file away as they keep looking at that UFL pipeline. 2 is the specific position that Jaden Price plays at cornerback. We've talked plenty about it. Both of your week 1 starting corners from a year ago are gone. You traded Marshawn Lattimore to Washington, and Paulson Adebo signed with the Giants. So you are really in need of starting cornerback help and ability this year. When you look at what you got in that cornerback room right now, it ain't great. I mean, I am high on Kool-Aid McKinstry being an NFL starting cornerback. I am not high or bullish on Alontae Taylor as a starting cornerback. I think Alontae Taylor is a very good defensive back, but he's a nickel or he is a safety. We saw Alontae Taylor last year when you had injuries go play on the boundary, and he was one of the lowest graded cornerbacks in the NFL by PFF. It was a problem. The New Orleans Saints defensively last year were 27th in the NFL against the pass. You were 27th in the NFL. Yes, you had injuries, but then you had Kool-Aid McKinstry and you had Alontae Taylor playing corner. That was a problem. 5 teams in the entire league were worse than you at defending the pass. So you've got to improve. And that's not all just scheme. You've got to improve personnel. So I look at who they've added here and who they have at the cornerback room, and I don't know that I'm looking at this going, there's a ton of reason for confidence. Yes, you've got Kool-Aid back, and you signed Isaac Yiadom, who's an 8th-year player, had a really nice breakout season with New Orleans a couple of years ago, ended up signing with San Francisco, now he's back in New Orleans. And you drafted Quincy Riley out of Louisville. Now, that maybe is the wild card because they're very high on Quincy Riley. They brought him here for a top 30 visit. They spent a lot of time on Quincy Riley, and they ended up drafting him. I think they certainly thought he was going to be drafted higher than where they were able to get him. But he's still 5'11", so he's a smaller corner. If you want a long, rangy corner that sort of defines the modern position, that ain't it. I mean, Kool-Aid McKinstry is 5'11", 199, and Quincy Riley's 5'11", 195. I mean, they're the same guy physically. So if you want a long, rangy corner, you ain't got him. And Isaac Yiadom, 6'1", 188, more fits the mold, but I don't know if that's a guy you're looking at as a consistent starting caliber corner in the NFL right now in year 8. The rest of your cornerback room, this is the rest of your cornerback room. Dallas Beanham, the rookie out of South Dakota State. Rico Payton, second-year player out of Pittsburgh State. Rajon Wright, second-year player out of Oregon State. And that's it. Dallas Beanham, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Rico Payton, Jaden Price, Quincy Riley, Alontae Taylor, Rajon Wright, Isaac Yiadom. That's your corners. I don't know that any of those guys are legit starting cornerbacks in the NFL. I think Kool-Aid can be, and I think I think Isaac Yiadom can be a good rotational piece and a good backup. But you've got to add a starting cornerback. You've got cap space to do it. I don't know if you do it via trade or if you wait for roster cut downs and you see if maybe somebody who's got starting cornerback experience in the NFL falls on the scrap heap and is someone you're able to add. But I don't know that I feel super great about going into this season with those 8 cornerbacks I just mentioned vying for your starting jobs. So that is most definitely going to be one position to watch as we get to and through training camp if the Saints do, in fact, try to add a veteran starting caliber cornerback to this room. 27th in the NFL against the pass last year. You don't have the pieces, the talent there on the roster right now to improve that number. See if they can. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.